this video, we're going to talk about powers of 10. So 10 to the 0, we talked about that in the last video. Recall that x to the 0 is equal to 1, provided that the base is not 0. Well, 10 is not 0. Now, 10 to the 1 power is equal to 10. Because, for example, suppose you have x to the 6 divided by x to the 5th. This means x times itself 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. And in the bottom, we have it being multiplied 5 times. 2, 3, 4 times, 5 times. Now, using the rule we said, you just subtract and you get x to the 1. Well, this is 1 and that's 1. You divide that, it's 1. 1 times x. Well, 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times x is just x. Oh, you mean x to the 1 equals x. Just like 10 to the 1 equals 10. X to the 1 is x. 10 squared. Well, that means 10 times 10, which we know is 100. That's 100. 10 cubed is 10 times 10 times 10. Well, we just did 10 times 10, it's 100, times another 10. Well, 10 hundreds is 1,000. Okay, this is 1,000. 10 to the 4th, that's 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Well, that's 100 times another 100. 100 times 100, if you bother to multiply it out, you will get 10,000. Just do 100 times 100. 0 times those digits on top is 0, indent. 0 times 0 is 0. 0 times that 0 is 0. 0 times 1 is 0. So you get 3 zeros. Indent the second time. Now 1 times that number is going to be that number. And if you want to say 1 times 0 is 0, and 1 times 0 is 0, and 1 times 1 is 1, go for it. But you're still going to get 100. And when you add these, oh, you get 10,000. And let's notice something. When you have, let's see what they all have in common. They all have a leading 1. And when the power is 0, you have 0, 1. 0 zeros here. When the power is 1, you have 1 0. When the power is 2, you had 2 zeros. When the power is 3, you had 3 zeros. And when the power is 4, you have 4 zeros. And this is going to always be true. 10 to the 5th is 1, followed by 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 100 thousands. 100,000. 10 to the 7 will be 1, followed by 7 zeros. 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks to me like 10 million. And just for completeness, 10 to the 6 is 1, followed by 6 zeros, which is going to be 1 million. Okay, so we're experts now at knowing how to write down 10 to a power, 10 to an integer. They ask you what 10 to the 21 is. Well, it's simple, maybe a pain to write, but it's 1 followed by 21 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let me just get some more space. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. It's that number. Don't ask me how to read that. This is ones, this is thousands, thousands, millions, billion, trillions. I don't know what the next three are called. But that's what 10 to the 21 equals. If they say write 10 to the 21 in long form, here it is. 1 followed by 21 zeros. Now, let's talk about multiplying by numbers that have zeros at the end. If you have, say, 100 times 7, you're going to have 7 times 0, 7 times 0. By design, you're going to have 2 zeros. And then you're going to have 7 times 1. Another way of doing it is to just do 7 times 1 and then add on the 2 zeros. Notice we got the same answer. If you wanted to do, I don't know, 1,000 times 21. Well, 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 1 is 0. Indent. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times that 0 is 0. 2 times that 0 is 0. And then 2 times 1 is 2. Excuse me. 1 times 1 was supposed to be, not supposed to be, is 1. So when you add this, you get 21 with 3 zeros. I could have just done 1 times 21, get 21, and then add on 3 zeros. I get the same answer. If you want to know what, I don't know, 10,000 times 725 is, well, 5 times each of those digits will be 0. And then 5 times that digit will be 5. Indent. Now 2 times those digits, those 4 digits, will be 0. And 2 times the 1 will be a 2. Indent 2 spaces. The 7 times those 4 zeros will be 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the 7 times the 1 will be 7. And if you add these numbers, you get 4 zeros at the end. You could have just done 1 times 725. I mean, fair enough. You could have written it down this way. That doesn't matter. You're going to get 725 plus the 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. And notice, I got the same answer. If you have 1,000 times 100. Well, 1 times 1 is 1. I got the ones from here. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. I claim this answer will be 1 followed by 5 zeros. Now, I've been known to be wrong. Let's see. 0 times those 3 zeros will be 0. And then 0 times the 1 will be 1. Will be 0, excuse me. And I indent. And when I multiply this 0 by those 4 numbers on top, I'll still get 4 zeros. And then when I do 1 times that number, I'll get that number. Or if you prefer, 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 1 is 1. So you get 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. There were 3 zeros here and 2 zeros there. Same answer. Let's just up the level of difficulty a little bit. What if you have 700 times 5? Well, 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times that 0 is 0, and 5 times 7 is 35. You could have just said, well, 7 times 5 is 35, and add on the 2 zeros. If you have 700 times 25, 5 times 0, 5 times 0, 5 times 7, indent. 2 times 0, 2 times 0, 2 times 7. So you get 17500. You could have just done 25 times 7. And you should know how much 7 quarters are. It's 175. And then add on the 2 zeros. Don't have to do all this work. And I could have said that 7 times 5 is 35, carried is 3. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 3 more is 17. And then add on the 2 zeros. If you have 800 times 7, you can go 7 times 8, and then add on the 2 zeros. Nice and quick. If you have 600 times 5, 6 times 5 happens to be a number with a 0. I don't care. I'm going to add on 2 zeros. So you get 3,000. If you have, say, 22100, and you want to multiply this by 700, you could instead just do 221 times 7. 7 times 1, 7 times 2 is 14, carry the 1. 7 times 2 plus 1 is 15. And then add on 2 plus 2, 4 zeros. It's a lot easier than going 0 times, hold on please, 0 times 0 is 0, 0 times 0 is 0, 0 times 1 is 0, 0 times 2 is 0, 0 times 2 is 0, indent, and then use the other 0. 0 times 0 is 0, 0 times 0 is 0, 0 times 1 is 0, 0 times 2 is 0, 0 times another 2 is 0. Now indent 2 times, and now do 7 times 0 is 0, 7 times 0 is 0, 7 times 1 is 7, 7 times 2 is 14, carry the 1, 7 times 2 is 14, plus 1 more is 15. We get 0, 0, 0, 0, 7, 4, 5, 1. Oh, wondering why it looked different? Just put the decimals in the right places. Got the same answer, and all I did was multiply 721 by 7. I only had one line of answers. Here I had 3 lines. I had all these zeros. You don't need to do any of this. You didn't need this row, you didn't need this row, and you didn't need those zeros. You just needed the 1, 5, 4, 7, and then the 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try another problem. If you were asked to compute 350 times 100, don't do this. It's just a pain. 0 times 0, 0 times 0, 0 times 5, 0 times 3. Then do indent, then do 0 times 0, 0 times 5, 0 times 3, and then indent 2 times, and then do 1 times 0, 1 times 5, and then 1 times 3, and you get this number. Instead, this is trivial. 35 times 1 is trivial. Then add on 1, 2, 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. Notice I got the same answer. Okay, if I ask you what is 7230000 times 1000, this would be a mess to do. You're going to have 4 rows of numbers. 0, 0, 0. I'm going to do this just to show you what a headache it is. 0, 0 times 2 is 0. 0 times 7 is 0. Indent. Then work with this 0. 0 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. If you actually bother to say 0 times 0, 0 times 0, 0 times 0, 0 times 0, 0 times 3, 0 times 2, 0 times 7. Okay, then we go to this 0. 0 times 0, 0 times 0, 0 times those 7 digits. Can ask yourself each and every time. 0 times 0, 0 times the next 0, 0 times that 0, 0 times that 0, 0 times 3, 0 times 2, 0 times 7. Then indent 3 spaces. And then do 1 times 0, 1 times 0, 1 times 0, and 1 times 0. That's 4 zeros. And then do 1 times 3. Obviously, I have a mistake. 1 times 2 and 1 times 7. This is very easy to make a mistake. When I took this 0 and I multiplied it by 7, somehow I put down 7. It's 0. And now if you add these numbers up, there's the answer. Now, a much cleaner way of doing it is, you don't even have to do this, because you know what 723 times 1 is. And then add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 zeros to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And look, I got the same answer. And I didn't even have to do that. I know it's 723. That is, if you have 321,000 and you multiply it by 1,000, okay, 10,000, you should know this times that is 321. 3 zeros and 4 more zeros, 7 zeros. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, I just want to be very clear. If you have 301,000 and you're multiplying this by 100, so 301 times 1 is 301. You add on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. Don't include that 0. It's the zeros at the end of the number. There are 5 zeros at the end of the number. So it looks to me like 30,100,000. Okay, and you can do this in a trivial fashion. If you have 756,000 and you're going to multiply this by 100, 1 times that number is 756. 3 zeros and 2 more make 5 zeros. 3, 4, 5. Next problem. 75,600,000. Do not multiply out when you have zeros at the end. Yes, 3 zeros and 2 zeros, fine. Multiply the rest. Multiply those numbers. In other words, I probably won't work this out in detail, But if you want to multiply those two numbers, instead, just multiply this, get your answer, whatever it is, and then add on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. Okay, whatever this product happens to be, I don't know what it is. You probably needed two lines to figure it out. But whatever it is, this answer is going to have this same number and then 6 zeros. It is what it is. Do not multiply out with the zeros. Don't do that. It's just completely inefficient. Just learn, hey, if there's 3 digits at the end and another 3 plus 3 is 6, I'm just going to do this multiplication, and then whatever answer I get, whatever it is, I'm going to add on 6 zeros at the end. Get that down. It makes life so much easier. And then you don't make silly mistakes like I did when I said 0 times 7 was 7. I mean, I know what 1 times 7, 2, 3 is. I probably won't ever get that wrong. But 0 times, if I keep asking you, what's 0 times 3? What's 0 times 9? What's 0 times 2? What's 0 times 0? Eventually, you're going to make a mistake. There's just so many times in a row that you can get it correct. Okay, so again, to do this multiplication, just do this multiplication and add on the 6 zeros. Why 6 zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See you guys in the next section.